Okay. Well, I'll be honest. This is a little bit longer than I like to go without talking to you guys. And so I am checking in with you guys. I am doing a late monthly recap. We are already almost a week through April, and I'm recapping what I read in March. I'm going to be talking about some life updates, just sitting down and chatting with you guys and just having one of those catch-up moments. So I'm really behind on my reading goal for the year. I think I set it at like 60 books this year, 65 books. 65 books was my 2022 reading challenge because I easily hit 50 last year, and I am 5 books behind schedule. So I do have a little bit of catching up to do, but honestly, I'm also kind of looking at it, well, like it's a goal, like a fun goal. I'm not going to put pressure on myself or like make myself miserable trying to hit it. I will try to challenge myself to hit it. But if I don't, it is not the end of the world. And I'll be, you know what? You got to be a little bit forgiving on yourself sometimes and give yourself a little leeway. So that's the way I'm kind of looking at it. But anyways, let's talk books, shall we? I'm not going to lie. This month wasn't a heavy, well, I guess not this month, last month of March wasn't a super heavy reading month. I feel like I'm in a bit of a reading slump right now, which is totally fine. Like sometimes you go through reading slumps, and I actually had a couple, or like one book I particularly liked this month in March. So let's go ahead and get into that, because clearly my mind is not working properly, and hopefully the more that I talk, the more it'll start figuring things out. So let's go ahead and get into the first book. Okay, so the first book that I finished in the month of March was one that I really, really enjoyed. I don't know where I heard of this book, and it was most likely suggested to me through something, because I read a similar book to this last year, and that is Good Morning Monster by Katherine Gildner. A therapist shares 5 heroic stories of emotional recovery. Now, the book that I'm talking about that this is similar to is the one by You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb. And I read that book last year, and I did enjoy it, but I loved this one so much more. I just thought the stories in this were so much more compelling. And I really liked this book because there was one that really, well, actually, I feel like a lot of them resonated with me, each of the stories. But there was one in particular that had like a cultural background that I really resonated with, because it's almost like being displaced from like your place of birth / your like ethnicity, and being raised in a different culture and like almost forced out of that cultural appreciation and growing up within those parameters. And so I really liked that one. And there were, I mean, each of them I felt were strong. So there wasn't really a story in this that I didn't enjoy. This book is basically a therapist recounting 5 of her past patients that she felt like she had a really, amazing experience with, that she learned a lot, and she detailed all of those within this book. So I would definitely recommend this book for those of you guys who like reading about psychologists or therapy. I liked it a lot, and I gave it actually a 5 out of 5 stars because I enjoyed it that much. I listened to this as well as read the book. And get this, I was actually listening to it first on audiobooks through Libby, and I was so into it, I wanted to read it because she wasn't like going fast enough in my like reading to me. So I know I can speed up, but then I feel like I don't like comprehend the story as well as me like seeing the words. So I actually like ordered this to my house so I could actually have a physical copy and read it. That's how much I liked it. So this one I definitely enjoyed and would highly recommend. The next book that I finished for the month of March was The Case of the Murderous Dr. Cream, The Hunt for a Victorian-Era Serial Killer by Dean Job. This was supposed to be like a possible Jack the Ripper suspect, and it basically just detailed this serial killer's experience. He was like an international serial killer, bouncing back from like England to Canada to different countries, and he had several victims. His choice of killing was poisoning through strychnine, and so yeah, it was really, I guess, pretty interesting. I felt like it was a little bit slow at times, and this book is not chronologically written. In fact, it like jumps from place to place throughout the book. So I would say that was my one qualm with it, because I really just, when you're like reading a nonfiction book and you're trying to keep up with all of these different people and places and facts, it's so much easier when the author just keeps it in chronological order. So that was my main complaint with this book, and I did feel like it was like a little long for what it was. So because of that, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I had higher expectations for it, so I didn't necessarily love it, but I did find it interesting, and there were certain parts of the book that I burned through quicker than others because I felt like I was just more interested in them. So that was the second book that I finished in the month of March. Now, the third book that I finished in the month of March was actually a book I listened to on audiobook, The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. I believe this was like someone who got popular off Oprah, and she does like speaking engagements and things like that. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Even thinking about it now, I can't even tell you like the main messaging of the book. It was a pretty quick one. I do remember that it was like a 4 to 5 hour audiobook. And so, do I feel inspired by it? I don't really remember. This just wasn't a book that stuck with me, I guess. Because now, I read this or listened to it like 2 weeks ago. So it really wasn't that long ago. And I really don't have any thoughts on it. Do you guys have books like that where you read something and you're just like, it was fine, like it was good, I was entertained for the time that I was experiencing that book, but did it stick with me? Probably not. So that's one of those books I thought maybe it would like give me inspiration or like motivate me, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I've read better self-help books. And then I want to discuss really quickly some of the books that I'm currently working on because I've been working on them for quite a long time. So if you follow my Goodreads, I wanted to explain myself a little bit. So the first book that I've started this like a month ago, I want to say, and it is The Burning of Bridget Cleary by Angela Burke. This is actually a really interesting story about attached to like the idea of changelings which is within Irish folklore. And so Bridget Cleary was a woman who was essentially thought to be a changeling, even though she was an adult, like switched by a fairy, kind of like a doppelganger, I want to say, along the same vein. But her husband ended up murdering her in a very brutal and violent way because he thought she was a changeling. So I'm actually looking to do a folklore and fairy tale Friday on changelings. And so I wanted to read this book first. I know I keep saying I want to bring the series back, but it's because I really, really do. And it's a series I really enjoy. But for me, it's very research intensive on top of the other things that I've been like trying to grapple recently. And it has just been a super hectic time lately. Hence the little break on this YouTube channel. I think it's been like 2 weeks since I posted, which I guess isn't that long, but like I said, I don't like going that long without talking to you guys and updating you on what I'm up to. So anyways, if you guys have, by the way, suggestions of folklore and fairy tale Friday topics, please let me know because I'm always on the hunt for like really compelling and interesting folklore and stories. So let me know in the comment section down below. I'm also working on The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I know a lot of people love this book, and it's also one of those books that's life-changing for people. It's taking me a little bit longer to get through this book. I'm only on page 26 because, number one, something like this is not necessarily like exciting for me to pick up. I also feel like I have to be mentally engaged when I'm reading this book because there's like moments of pause where you're supposed to like digest what you're reading. And so I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to like conscientiously read this book. And so it's just taking me longer. And like I said, it's not a book that I'm like, ooh, I have an hour to spare. Let me go ahead and read The Power of Now. This is like I need to get myself to read this. On a lighter note, or I guess technically maybe a heavier note, I've gotten back into reading Stephen King. So this is actually a book I started this month in April. And so this is Full Dark, No Stars. I read the first short story in this book. It's a short story collection. And I took a little break from Stephen because I felt like you guys were probably getting bored and inundated with Stephen content. And then I just thought I needed a little kick in the pants to get back into reading. And Stephen King always kind of does it for me. And so I'm already eager to read this book tonight. Literally my plan is to finish filming this. Then I'm going to go work out, make dinner, read this book. That's my nighttime plan. And so, yeah, we'll see what my thoughts are about that book at the end of this month when I do a monthly reading wrap-up for the month of April. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move on to life updates because, like I said, it's been quite a busy time for me. I'm going to talk about my wedding. So if this topic doesn't interest you at all, I totally understand, and you can click out of this video now. But for those of you guys who are planning your wedding or have planned a wedding or will in the future, maybe this is interesting to you and maybe I can get some feedback from those of you guys who have experience or who have, thought about this. But I'm officially 6 months out from my wedding. I did this makeup look on my main channel, The Beauty Breakdown, which is potentially like my wedding day makeup, something similar along these veins. I'll probably rework it a couple times because, obviously it's not perfect, but this is kind of the idea I'm going for. And yes, I am going to be doing my own makeup and hair. For the most part, I am trying to have a somewhat budget conscious wedding. We are going to have like 100 to 150 guests, so it is I consider it a larger wedding, so to a certain extent, it's hard to just avoid the costs of that, but we live in a very, very high cost of living area, so I feel like I've done a really good job. Our venue is fairly affordable, the food is going to be great. We are big fans of the place we are going to have our venue, and it includes like a premium bar. So with all of that kind of stuff, which were the things that I prioritized, and the price that we're getting, I feel very excited about it. Now, the other things that I've been booking, like the vendors, I have been slowly working my way through them, and I'm trying to do them in a timely manner because, again, we are kind of in that like 6-month period where we need to get these things done and make sure we book them so that they are available for our date. So the things that I have gotten done as far as vendors go, I'm in contact with the DJ who is hopefully going to have a package with a photo booth, which is a high priority for me because I love photo booths. I think they're really fun. They also have lighting, which will be great, hopefully. And also, they have this thing called like a cold sparkler. So if you guys have heard of those or seen those, let me know your thoughts on them. It seems like very extravagant, but I'm kind of like super into it. So those are some of the things that I'm working on as far as vendors go. What else do I need? Oh, my flowers. That's another vendor that most people book. Hi, I'm doing my own flowers. Now, I know you guys are going to call me crazy because everyone has called me crazy. Even I've hired my day of coordinator, by the way. My day of coordinator has basically told me, like, please don't do this because you will regret your decision. And I'm like, you don't know me. You just don't know me well enough. I like to think I know myself well enough, and I am a pretty crafty DIY person. And on top of that, I love messing with things. I can't stand still. I don't like watching TV. I can't sit places because I always have to be doing something. And so I actually feel like me doing flowers kind of closer like the week of my wedding actually will help calm me down because it'll give me something to do where I still feel like I'm being productive. And I have done so much research on flowers, how to keep them nice and ready for the wedding, how far in advance can I do them, how many days am I going to need, what is prep work like, what are hardier flowers, what are hardier greens, what combinations go nicely together, how to do it most affordably. So I have done my fair share of research. I'm a very research-based person. So at this point, I feel pretty confident. And on top of doing the real flowers, which will most likely be things that people see immediately in front of them, like the centerpieces and probably my own bouquet, I'm also going to be doing a mix of, ta-da! Solowood flowers, which this is a new concept to me, and I ordered some of these to see what they look like, and then I ended up ordering a bunch because I like them, because I think they're so pretty. So they're a little crunchy right now because I have to give them glycerin baths, and I might color a couple of them, although I do like the simplicity of the cream. But I have a couple different ones here. I have like this really pretty rose looking one. Then I have like peony looking ones in different sizes. These make me laugh because they look like garlic cloves. I don't know, maybe I'm always hungry. And then I have this guy, which I guess is supposed to look like a rose. So, in my opinion, do they look like the realest thing? They look pretty close. Would I mistake them for real? I don't know. We'll figure out when I kind of am able to doctor them up a little bit more, but those are gonna help like fill in some spaces and flowers and maybe some of the aisle work and the arch and things like that. And those are things that I can do well in advance of my wedding, so I don't have to stress out about those types of things. So really, in my mind, the only thing I'm anticipating as far as florals go, like a couple days before my wedding, is my centerpieces and my bouquet. We're not having bridesmaids, we're not doing groomsmen because we didn't want to obligate people with like working our wedding. And the people, like our close friends, are going to be like part of our pictures anyways, but they could just wear what they want. Like, we're keeping it very casual. So I don't need bouquets or like boutonnieres for those people. So yeah, that's my idea of flowers. And so if you guys have like affordable like wholesaler websites, please let me know. I think I found a couple, and I know Costco is a good option. I can go to the Los Angeles Flower Market. So I feel like I have some good resources around me. Trader Joe's, great resource. I've actually been to Trader Joe's a couple times. I've done some trial run centerpieces, which I'll insert a picture here so you guys can see. And I think it turned out pretty good. I mean, granted, this whole spiel, let me sum it up and also say, I am not super picky when it comes to flowers. To me, flowers are always going to be pretty. And as far as like my priority list of a wedding, they're not super high on there because you throw them away at the end of the event. They last 6 hours, or you're going to see them for 6 hours and then they're gone. So yeah, and then save the dates already sent out, and then I'll be working on invitations here in the next couple of weeks. So, you know, just besides that, life has been moving. We've had a very busy like social life lately and just very busy in general. So I have a lot of stuff going on this week. So I wanted to jump on here and just talk to you guys for a little bit and catch up. And yeah, I'm planning some more content for this channel and probably some more lifestyle stuff as well, because I think that's just very nice. I like to do that kind of thing. So I hope you guys enjoy, and definitely subscribe if you want more videos. Let me know if you guys like the wedding content or like the personal talk, because it's definitely not something I do on my main channel. So yeah, and I'll keep you guys posted on the books too, hopefully at the end of this month, and I'll have other content going up this month as well. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and as always, I hope you guys are happy and healthy, and don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys!